Did you know that some of the things seniors do at night could cause prostate cancer? If you're in your 60s, 70s, or 80s and waking up several times a night to pee, feeling pressure in your lower belly, or sensing something just isn't quite right down there, you're not alone. As someone who spent years listening to men talk about these issues in private, I can tell you this: most prostate problems don't begin with age, they begin with habits. In this video, we're going to cover 5 specific nighttime mistakes that many seniors make without knowing the damage they're causing. These aren't wild theories or extreme warnings. They're backed by years of clinical experience, and they explain why some men keep struggling with an enlarged prostate, even when they think they're doing everything right. What's most frustrating? These habits often feel harmless. A late glass of water, a heavy dinner, ignoring that bedtime urge to pee. It doesn't seem like a big deal, but to your prostate, these choices add up. Over time, they stretch, irritate, and wear down a gland that's already working overtime in your later years. Stay with me until the end of this video, because we're not only going to name these 5 habits, we're going to give you ways to gently undo the damage. You might find that sleeping through the night, feeling lighter in your pelvis, and regaining your control starts with letting go of just one of these habits tonight. Let's begin. Number 1, drinking too much water before bed. One of the most common habits that silently puts stress on the prostate is drinking too much water late in the evening. It's understandable. Many people over 60 are told to stay hydrated to support their kidneys, digestion, and general health. But when most of that water is consumed after dinner, especially an hour or 2 before bed, it becomes a problem your prostate has to deal with, not just your bladder. As men age, the prostate tends to enlarge naturally. That enlargement narrows the urethra, slows down urine flow, and makes it harder to fully empty the bladder. Now imagine pouring extra water into that system late at night. Instead of getting deep, uninterrupted rest, your body has to wake up again and again to deal with that extra liquid. The bladder fills up, sends signals, and the prostate, already under pressure, struggles to cooperate. You don't feel this immediately. You might even think, I'm just getting older, so of course I'll wake up a few times a night. But what's really happening is a cycle. Excess fluids lead to more pressure, and more pressure leads to more inflammation. Over time, this low-grade stress can make prostate symptoms worse. More urgency, more trips to the bathroom, more discomfort. I once spoke with an 82-year-old man named Walter who swore by drinking 2 tall glasses of water before bed. He said it helped him flush toxins overnight. But he also told me he hadn't slept through the night in over a decade. After we talked, he switched to drinking most of his water earlier in the day, especially before 6 p.m., and only sipped lightly after dinner. Within a week, he was waking up just once per night instead of 4 or 5 times. He said, I thought I had a prostate problem. Turned out I had a timing problem. Of course, you don't need to cut water completely. Hydration is still important, but shifting your water intake earlier in the day, making sure you're getting most of it before the evening hours, can give your prostate a break during the time it needs it most, while you sleep. And if you feel thirsty late at night, go slow. Take a small sip, not a full glass. Listen to your body and let your prostate rest. You might be surprised by how something so small changes the way you feel in the morning. Number 2, eating salty or processed foods at night. If you're like many older adults, dinner might be the heaviest meal of your day. A little comfort food in the evening, a frozen dinner. Some canned soup, maybe a few slices of deli meat, can seem harmless. But when it comes to your prostate, these high-salt, highly processed meals quietly set the stage for a very uncomfortable night. The problem isn't just the salt itself. It's what salt does inside your body. Salty foods cause you to retain more fluid during the day. That fluid eventually tries to flush out while you sleep. This can increase nighttime urination, put added pressure on your bladder, and indirectly stress the prostate. That's already trying to keep up. And it's not just about how often you wake up. It's about how hard your body has to work while you're supposed to be resting. When you eat a high-sodium dinner, especially one with processed ingredients, your kidneys and circulatory system stay active longer into the night, which prevents your body from fully relaxing into deep, restorative sleep. For men with an enlarged prostate, this means your pelvic area stays tense, swollen, and irritated. The result? You wake up feeling heavy, tired, and more inflamed than the day before. I remember a man named Glenn, 76 years old. who came in complaining about constant nighttime urination. He kept saying, "I don't understand it. I don't drink water late. I even go before bed." But when we talked through his dinners, it turned out he was eating canned chili, TV dinners, and salty snack mixes most evenings, thinking they were quick and easy. Once he switched to lighter meals with more fresh vegetables, lean protein, and less sodium, his body calmed down. Within 3 nights, he said, "I didn't realize how much tension was building up down there." Your prostate doesn't just react to liquids. It reacts to the whole state of your body, and salty processed foods change that state. They raise blood pressure, reduce circulation, and make it harder for the body to drain fluids smoothly. That means more pressure around the bladder, more irritation in the prostate, and more trips to the bathroom just when you're trying to sleep. Instead of going to bed full of salt and preservatives, try a gentler dinner. Think simple: steamed vegetables, grilled chicken or fish, maybe a bowl of warm brown rice or oatmeal. Something that fills you up but doesn't weigh you down. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 2 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now let's move forward. Number 3, holding in urine during the night. Many older men wake up in the middle of the night, feeling the need to go, but they don't. Maybe it's because they're too tired, or maybe it's just easier to turn over and try to fall back asleep. But here's what most don't realize: holding in urine at night can quietly strain both the bladder and the prostate in ways that build up over time. When you resist the urge to urinate, your bladder continues to fill and stretch. This might seem harmless at first, but as it expands, the bladder walls become thinner, less elastic, and more irritable. And here's where it affects your prostate. The longer urine stays inside, the more pressure builds in the lower urinary tract. That pressure pushes back on the prostate, especially if it's already enlarged. Over time, this can lead to more inflammation, slower urine flow, and a higher risk of infection. It's not just a comfort issue, it's a mechanical one. A full bladder makes it harder to fully empty later. That residual urine creates an environment where bacteria can grow, leading to irritation, frequent urges, and in some cases, painful infections. And for an older man with an already sensitive prostate, that's the last thing you need. I once spoke with Leonard, age 81, who had a habit of waiting until morning, no matter what. He told me, "I just don't want to get out of bed unless I absolutely have to." But he also shared how his lower belly often felt tight by morning and how, sometimes even after urinating, he still felt like something was left behind. I encouraged him to simply get up and go when the urge hit, even if it was just once or twice a night. Within a few days, he noticed less pressure, fewer lingering sensations, and better flow in the morning. Turns out, he said, my body was telling me what it needed. I was just ignoring it. Your body has built-in signals for a reason. When it tells you to release, it's not just about comfort, it's about health. The longer you hold, the more tension you carry. And the more that tension builds, the more inflamed and swollen your prostate can become. Of course, you don't want to be jumping up every hour. That's why avoiding excess fluids or salty foods late at night helps. But when the urge comes, don't ignore it. Respond gently. Let your body reset. Your prostate will thank you for it. Number 4, sleeping on your stomach. Of all the sleep positions out there, sleeping on your stomach might seem the least connected to prostate health. But if you're a man over 60 and you tend to lie face down at night, your sleeping posture could be applying silent, consistent pressure right where your body least needs it, your pelvic region. Here's what happens when you sleep on your stomach. Your body weight shifts forward. This places subtle but continuous pressure on your lower abdomen, bladder, and the area surrounding your prostate. It might not feel obvious at first, especially if you've been doing it for years, but over time, this position can interfere with blood flow, increase pelvic tension, and prevent proper drainage of the lower urinary tract. The prostate is a small gland, but it's highly sensitive to inflammation and congestion. Even small changes in pressure, especially repeated night after night, can contribute to discomfort, swelling, and slower urine flow. For someone already experiencing an enlarged prostate, sleeping on the stomach can quietly make symptoms worse without you even realizing why. I once spoke with a 74-year-old man named Harold, who told me he had developed a tightness in his lower abdomen that seemed to show up most mornings. He thought it was digestive, but when we looked at his habits, one thing stood out. He always fell asleep on his stomach, with a leg curled up to the side. After switching to sleeping on his side with a pillow between his knees, he reported back weeks later saying, "I didn't realize how much tension I was holding down there until I let it go." You don't have to force yourself into an uncomfortable position, but experimenting with new sleeping habits can make a world of difference. Side sleeping, especially on your left side, helps reduce pressure on your internal organs and improves circulation to the pelvic area. Some men also find relief by slightly elevating their legs or using a wedge pillow to reduce downward pressure on the bladder and prostate. It's a quiet change, but an important one. You spend 6 to 8 hours each night in that position, so even a little shift can create big results over time. If you're dealing with nighttime urgency, lower belly pressure, or just don't feel rested in the morning, consider how you're sleeping. A small adjustment tonight might ease your prostate tomorrow. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment. Number 4, below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now let's move forward. Number 5, ignoring the urge to urinate before going to bed. It might seem like a small thing. Maybe you're already in bed, already comfortable, and you tell yourself, "I'll just go in the morning." But for older men, especially those with an aging or enlarged prostate, ignoring that final urge to urinate before sleep can cause more trouble than you think. Here's why. When you go to bed with a partially full bladder, that urine sits for hours. It puts gentle but steady pressure on your bladder walls and indirectly your prostate. Over time, that residual pressure becomes more than just physical. It becomes inflammatory. It signals your body that something isn't being handled, and your prostate starts to respond in ways that aren't always helpful. As the prostate enlarges with age, it already presses slightly on the urethra, the tube that carries urine out. Leaving urine sitting overnight creates an ideal environment for irritation, bacterial growth, and even mild swelling, especially if your bladder doesn't fully empty when you finally do go. That leftover volume becomes a breeding ground for low-level inflammation. And the longer it happens, the more it can affect your daily comfort. I once spoke with a 69-year-old man named Peter who said he avoided the bathroom before bed simply out of habit. "I never felt like I had to go that badly, so I just didn't," he said. But over time, he began waking up more often at night and noticed it was harder to empty fully in the morning. Once he made a point to visit the bathroom every night before bed, whether he felt the urge or not, he saw real changes, fewer interruptions, easier mornings, and what he described as less tension down there. That's the thing. Urination isn't just about urgency, it's about maintenance. Emptying your bladder before bed resets the system. It gives your prostate a break and your body a chance to rest without internal pressure building up overnight. And even if the urge feels mild, responding to it reinforces your body's rhythm and balance. Some men find it helpful to make this a part of their routine. Brush your teeth, wash your face, and go, even if it's just a little. It's not about how much. It's about telling your system, "We're done for the day." Your prostate will thank you. So will your sleep. It's a small step, but over time, it can help reduce swelling, lower nighttime urgency, and support a healthier, more peaceful rhythm in your lower body. Final thoughts. So many men quietly accept their prostate problems as just another part of getting older. The late-night bathroom trips, the pressure that won't quite go away, that feeling of never really emptying out. But what if some of that discomfort wasn't just aging, it was habit? And what if changing just a few small things at night could give your body and your prostate the relief it's been needing? Today we looked at 5 things many older men do without even thinking. 1. Drinking too much water late. 2. Eating salty or processed dinners. 3. Holding in urine. 4. Sleeping in positions that press on the pelvis. 5. Skipping that final trip to the bathroom. None of these habits seem dangerous, but over time they quietly add pressure, slow down drainage, and make an already sensitive prostate work harder than it should. The good news? Your body wants to recover, and it doesn't need a miracle supplement or an extreme lifestyle overhaul. Often it just needs you to stop doing the things that hurt it. Let go of the habits that make your nights harder and your mornings heavier. Try giving your prostate what it's been asking for. A little more space, a little more rest, and a little less stress. Which of these habits do you think you've been doing without realizing it? Which one will you try changing tonight? Leave a comment and share your experience. Even the smallest shift could mean better sleep, better flow, and a better quality of life tomorrow. Thank you for joining us today. We'd love to hear from you. Leave a comment below and share one thing you learned today and how you plan to use it in your life. Your thoughts are important to us, so don't hesitate to share them. Reading your comments gives us great motivation and encouragement. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, please like, subscribe, and share. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Thanks for watching, and we look forward to seeing you in the next video.